Folks, welcome into sportsbookreview.com. It's Monday, and it's time to talk some Major League Baseball. Hopefully your weekend was filled with winners as we start a new week. As we like to say, new week, new money. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Jason Radowitz, along with Kyle Purviance. We are the sportsbookreview.com Major League Baseball team. I'm ready to go tonight. Play of the day. Ring me up, boys. Jason, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I can't complain. Another winner yesterday, so it's been a really good last 30 days for me, and just trying to keep that rolling, keep going, and give another winner for today.
Yeah, I watched over the weekend, took some notes here, see what's taking place now that these teams should have a rhythm heading into the new week. Rested and ready, as I like to say, Kyle. New haircut, new look, and ready for winners.
Yeah. Let the making fun of me begin. Go ahead. And yes, I am also concerned that it won't grow back. So this could be the last time. It could start to look ridiculous from here on out as I start to push that buzzer on 40. The 5-month countdown has begun. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Certainly appreciate everyone already out in the chat box. The chat box is on fire before we even say a word. Really appreciate all of you doing that. Got some plays today that we like. 13 games, couple double headers, only one weather issue. It's going to be a good show. Good winners tonight. I know some of the stuff you guys are on. I like everything that we're all on today. Should be a good show.
Yeah, let's get after it. Have some fun. And you know what, guys? Thank you, as Kyle said, for the support that you guys always give us. Ready to go in the chat box, bringing that fire. 87,100 subscribers so far here on our sportsbookreview.com YouTube page. Thank you guys so much for doing that. But also, we like to run contests here at sportsbookreview.com, and we like to run free contests. $20,000 in Bitcoin up for grabs here just by picking some team totals. Check out this video right here by our own Lee Martin explaining all of the details.
The free $20,000 MLB 10 runs for free cash contest is now live at SBRforum.com. What is the contest? It's simple. Each day in a designated SBR forum post, you pick one team that you think will score 10 or more runs that day. You qualify to win $100 that day if you are correct. Each day the game continues, you pick another team. And every time your team scores 10 runs, you'll be adding onto your total score. The contest is split into 3 segments, and at the end of each segment, the top scorers split $2,500. And at the conclusion of the contest, there's even more cash up for grabs, in total over $20,000. And I know what you're thinking. You can just pick the Yankees every day and win. No, you can only pick the same team once per week. Check out the link in the description for more info, and see you in the SBR forum for the contest.
All right, guys, get yourself in that contest right there. If you need some more, maybe directions or some pointers there, look just above the chat box here. See it in yellow, SBR Sports Picks. Click on that link. Get all the information that you need to know to get after it. We don't have any afternoon Major League Baseball, so you know what? We can sink our teeth right into the games that are about to begin a little bit later tonight. Mets and the Reds are going to start off on the marquee for us. Let's head on down. Jared Eichhoff versus Gutierrez. Now, Eichhoff, not very good. Gutierrez, not very good. There's a reason, Jason. We open up at 10.5 as a total, and we now what? Currently sit at 11s across the board. Slight favorite here for Cincinnati. The bats stack up well, Jason, but I know a lot of us are looking towards the Reds, and I completely agree. But for those that can stomach it, I still think the Mets line up pretty well to get some runs here in Cincinnati in a small ballpark, hitting weather. Oh, yeah. Rough starting pitcher, rough bullpen. I think the Mets hit here along with the Cincinnati Reds, Jason. What are you looking at tonight?
Yeah, and that's why you go team total on most of these plays because, again, people are in my DMs asking, like, do you like the team total? If I miss the team total, should I get the first 5 and this and that? We give team totals out because we don't have to worry about the other side. And so for this instance, I like the Reds over 2.5 on the team total in the first 5 innings. And sure, could the Reds, win the first 5 innings? Yeah, they can. But like Donnie said, the Mets can also do some damage offensively too. So why do that to yourself, right? So if you look at this game, the Mets versus Reds, the weather really nice, 84 degrees, the wind blowing out to right field, about 8 miles per hour. That will help the lefties in their power. And you look at Eichhoff. This is a guy that allows plenty of home runs for the Mets. This will be his 4th start of the season. Well, he's already allowed 6 home runs on the year and has just 6 strikeouts. So he's allowed as many home runs as he got in strikeouts. Even if you go back to 2019, right? In 2019, if you go to his stats, 18 home runs in 58.1 innings pitched. He's a guy that allows plenty of home runs. He even had a game against Arizona in 2019 where he allowed 5 home runs in a single game. So that's what he does. And obviously the Reds, they have some power in their lineup. There won't be any Nick Castellanos, still has a wrist injury from getting hit by a pitch, but they will have other lefties in the lineup like Shogo Akiyama, who is a terrific left-handed hitter, not showing it this year so far. But if you go against Eichhoff, in his 23 plate appearances against the lefties, 639 weighted OBA and an ISO of 739. So any lefty you can get in that lineup is going to be damaged against Eichhoff, and even righties, of course, 250 ISO from the right side in 17 plate appearances. So there's a lot of power in this lineup for the Reds. Even without Castellanos, I still think they get the job done, and they score early in this game. So I'd go with that over 2.5 in the first 5 of the team total at around -120. I think it's now jumped to around -130, but it would still be a go for me.
Yeah, what do we like about these type of games here, Kyle? So you take a look at two pitchers on the mound, not very good, high xFIP, but the reason behind that is because they don't strike a lot of guys out. So if that ball is getting in play, it does stink a little bit that Castellanos is not going to be playing in this Major League Baseball game. But one of the numbers that we harp on all the time, some people just look at names. Oh, no, Lindor is out. That's actually really good news for the Mets here with their lineup tonight. I think they hit, Kyle.
Yeah, well, they should. It's hard for me to trust the Mets. The Mets are on my no-can trustee list right now. So I'm not trusting them very much. And Taijuan Walker burned me a little bit in DFS yesterday. It was a very bizarre game. Of course, they did come back and win, which I don't believe they deserved, but I know it makes Jason happy. So it makes me happy as well. So this one's interesting. I was really close to hitting the over 5.5 in the first 5 innings. I would prefer if Castellanos was in the lineup, but those lefties, Winker, who's actually been really cold lately. Winker has just lost at the plate lately. Barnhart, Naquin, etc., should be able to hit. Eichhoff has been absolutely dreadful. Now, I will say, in his last 2 starts against the Reds, 2 of his better starts, a 35 and an 18. I know an 18 doesn't sound great, but when you look at his last 3 starts, that's more than he's had in fantasy points combined. He's also got a -9 in his last 5. I mean, this guy has been absolutely rocked. So I do think the Reds are live here. There should be runs scored. I like that look of Jason, the team total in the first 5 innings. And I will say, mentioning the 5 innings here, you can get the Reds -0.5 at +110. So you can get a little bit of plus money if you want to take them in the first 5 innings. Now, it's a little nerve-wracking because it's not like Gutierrez is a world beater either, but when you look at a weighted 3-year OPS, the highest one from pitcher versus lineup tonight is Eichhoff, a 1081. The Reds should be able to hit. Both teams' team totals are live for me. If you're looking for a plus money spot and you want to take a shot on the Reds in the first 5 innings, I don't blame you there either. Even though Gutierrez isn't great, he's been a little bit better, and it has this higher upside, it appears. You know, he's got a 4 and then he's got a 40. So if he gets rolling and gets going against a Mets team that doesn't score runs, that could be a nice little plus money spot as well.
Yeah, and also taking a look at Vladimir Gutierrez has actually had some decent starts stringing them back to back to back. So we'll see how that plays out tonight. But as we know, it's not really about ERA and how much runs you give up. It's about your xFIP numbers and what we anticipate that you should be giving up. We'll see what happens here. But there is a reason, as I said, to open here. 10.5 turns into 11. Outside, of course, that doesn't happen too frequently. We should see some runs tonight, keeping it moving down the list here for us. San Diego and Atlanta. How about this? Darvish versus Muller on the mound. 9s across the board. Heavy favorite to San Diego, as you would anticipate here. Some rainy conditions, though. So when you take a look at laying Darvish, 157, 164. If we look at the weather report in this game, because I know I was talking to Kyle before the show here, here's the interesting part that you know, if you're betting basically on pitchers, right? Most of the rainy conditions should be out of the way. But let's just say you get a 45-minute rain delay in the 3rd inning. You're probably losing Darvish because San Diego might not run him back out there. And that's probably the reason why you bet that game in itself. So I'm going to start with you first, Jason, on this game tonight as we take a look. It's sometimes hard with conjecture. Like, it's rainy, but you put your best foot forward on this one. Any thoughts in this game here between the Padres and the Braves?
Well, you know, Darvish obviously hasn't looked the best in his last 2 starts. Allowed 10 earned runs, 14 hits in his last 9 innings pitched. And, he's allowed plenty of home runs. You know, just one game where he didn't allow a home run in June and July combined. So, Darvish hasn't been the best. I think he can do some damage against the Braves lineup. The Braves, they have hit a little bit better recently. They made some acquisitions, like getting Jock Peterson and Stephen Vogt in the lineup. That has helped them. And then you have Kyle Muller, on the other hand. Against Miami, he allowed 3 runs, 4 hits, still had 7 strikeouts, but also walked 4 in 5.2 innings pitched. Now, when you allow 3 runs against the Marlins, that's pretty bad. But, I mean, he was able to get a lot of strikeouts in the last 2 games that he's pitched in. 5 innings against the Reds, had 9 strikeouts. Then he had 7 against Miami, on 7-3. So he has strikeout capabilities, also will walk some batters, and if we can get some clutch hits, the Padres should be fine. But yeah, this one's a tough one for me. I think I like the Padres more in this game. I think the Padres should be able to score 5 runs, so I would go with the over 4.5 on the team total for the Padres at -130. I think that's the play against Muller and the bullpen of the Braves. It hasn't been excellent, and of course, once you go to the Padres bullpen, it's pretty much lights out. And Darvish, he's got a lot of potential. So I would stick with the Padres if you side with the team here.
Yeah, take a look at the Padres lineup here as it projects out to left-handed pitching. Not all that well. If we look at Fernando Tatis, a 232 ISO power number. Outside of that, everybody else is, really below average, which is amazing when you think about it. They have a lot of good punch in that lineup. Atlanta, as they project towards Darvish, you have some pretty good ISO power numbers towards right-handed pitchers in general, Kyle. Peterson, 209, Swanson, 202, Freeman, 254, Albies, 196, and Riley at a 216. Now, also, I want to keep you guys in mind, we always like to freshen up the show and keep it live. But, I don't know, maybe this week they're working on some graphics here to work in an odds boost section into the show. So typically we would talk about a game like this and say, hey, you know what? DraftKings is out here. Dansby Swanson and Fernando Tatis Jr. to both get 1 RBI in this game or more. That's plus 675. So keep a look at it. We'll have a lot of fun for that. But Kyle, your thoughts and processes here behind the Padres in Atlanta.
Yeah, for me, this is dog or pass, and this is a big underdog. You can get a nice plus money spot here. You can get plus 145 on the money line in the first 5 innings. You mentioned a huge line for the whole game, and it would probably benefit the Padres if that did happen, if there was a delay and Darvish is pulled out. And his last 5 starts against Atlanta, he has nothing more than 24 fantasy points. He's actually been rocked by this lineup. Of course, it's a little bit different of a lineup without Acuna in there. But Jason touched on it. They brought in Vogt. They brought in Peterson. The lineup should still be able to hit the baseball. On the other hand, the Padres, again, not great against left-handed pitching. Kyle Muller hasn't been terrible, 48 and a 29 in his last 2 starts. It's not something I made official. It's not something I put money on. But if you're looking for an underdog look and a big plus money spot, you're not getting any value on the Padres tonight, just none. And the way Darvish has looked recently doesn't give you a whole lot of confidence. He's also the highest priced pitcher on DraftKings. No way in hell would I play him in DFS tonight. The Braves have had some success off him. He hasn't looked great. I think if you're looking for a big underdog spot, maybe you want to juice up a parlay, the Braves could be interesting at plus money.
Yeah, it is an interesting one because when you take a look at Muller, who's been on the mound, not that many at-bats, about 40 some odd at-bats, he struck out 38% of the batters that he's faced. Now, when you take a look at that K percentage lineup that's due to come up here for San Diego, they don't strike out all that much. But take a look at Atlanta as they match up with Darvish striking out about 30% of the batters that he's faced this year. That's a heavy strikeout lineup. And there's one more horrendous thing you can root or cheer for is when you get guys on third base, guys on second base, less than 2 outs, and then there you go, striking out at the plate when you just have to make some contact. So we'll see how it plays out, but also keep in mind, once again, people, weather conditions that we might be watching. Most of the heavy weather will be out of there by the time the game hits, but you never know. Pop-up shower could knock one of those starting pitchers right out of the ball game. How about late at night, back for the West Coast here? This is a good one. 9:61, 9:62, 10:10 first pitch East Coast time, 7:10 out west. That's San Francisco and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Gausman on the mound versus Gonsolin. Take a look at the lines here. -131, -132, which is crazy considering what we usually get out of the Dodgers when they're the home team. 220, 240 or higher sometimes. That just tells you the caliber pitcher that Kevin Gausman has been this year. So if you're looking to take a, bit of a shot, what are we getting? +121s, +112s, +115s across the board. You're getting plus money with the San Francisco Giants. Taking a look at this game as it is out west here. Now, Jason, we look at games like this, teams within 1 game of each other, more of a playoff atmosphere. Sometimes it doesn't lend itself all that much to actual hitting, but at the same time, you got good pitchers on the mound. You're out in the pitcher's ballpark. What are we looking at tonight in this game as we match up the Giants and the Dodgers?
Yeah, I do think this is an under game. Let's be real. Gausman's been really good, all season long. And really, the Dodgers, their lineup hasn't been that great against righties. If you just look back to the last 30 days and whatnot, really, the Dodgers, they haven't been that great against teams above 500 in the first place. They're a little bit overrated right now. Will they be in the playoffs? Will they be fine? Yeah, but right now, they're not the greatest team there. They'll get on base, but can they get some clutch hits? There's not many guys in the lineup that have been able to do that, and they're also striking out at a high rate. Like, look at Smith, 27.5% strikeouts, Bellinger, 30.8%, Taylor, 31.1%, even Pollock and Lux are now around 23, 24% strikeouts. So Gosman, a guy that has high strikeouts, should you just fine in this game. Yeah, he did struggle against the Dodgers in his last start against them. 5 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, 1 home run, and 5 walks. So yeah, his walks are a little bit higher than you would like right now. But if he's able to limit the walks, I like the Giants in this matchup. I think there won't be many runs in this game. So under in the first 5, you can go. You could take the Giants at plus money on the money line in the first 5. I would go with the Giants here in this game. I'm not a big fan of the Dodgers right now. They'll be there in the playoffs. They'll be fine. But right now, I think the Giants, they match up a little bit better here.
Yeah, the always thing that you're trying to get out of your head, Jason, is when you look at that Dodgers lineup, right? The weighted on base averages, just the star power in the lineup. You have to try to take that out of the equation when you're trying to match up team to team, because you're right. The Giants match up fairly well in this game, and I do think they have the better pitcher overall. And by the way, fantastic stuff coming out of the chat box here by Jay Peach. Kyle looks like he boats under the influence. I mean, very astute comments here from the 100%. Chat box. Kyle, your thoughts on the Giants, Dodgers, and boating under the influence.
Good thing I have a life jacket. You know what I mean? Because I definitely need it when I'm out on a boat. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Out on the clock.
You shouldn't do that. I'm not encouraging you to boat under the influence because I think it's against the law, but nonetheless, we do it anyway. You know, whatever. So this game, it's another dogger pass for me. I think you got an exponentially pitching advantage here for the Giants. Gausman's much better than Gonsolin, in my opinion. Again, we've talked about this all year, how the Giants can platoon these lefties and righties versus whatever they're going to face. We do prefer the Dodgers against right-handed pitching. Obviously, they're better against righties and lefties. They have been all season long. But I do think the Giants are a live dog here. When you have a pitching advantage like this, getting even money on the money line in the first 5 innings, you're getting plus money for the full game. It's the games in LA. You prefer it to be in San Francisco when taking the Giants, but I think the Giants are live dogs here. I don't mind Gausman, too, as a low-owned DFS option. Nobody ever likes to play pitchers against the Dodgers, so they're always low-owned. He could be interesting here if he's able to get through 5 or 6 innings. And the lefties, Yastrzemski, Crawford, etc., for the Giants make a ton of sense. I think the Giants are a live dog here. It's a dogger pass for me. Take the plus money on the Giants.
There you go. Some Giants backers here. But I do agree. If there's a time that you're going to take the Giants, because sometimes you're trying to read in between the lines, usually the Dodgers are massive favorites. It doesn't matter who comes into town. But the simple fact is that's hovering on that 125, 130 range tells you the Giants should be in. Let's also not forget, this isn't the Giants 15 games back of the Dodgers. I mean, you're looking at a first-place Giants team as they match up against the Dodgers. This will be a pretty big series to watch to see how it goes down. Let's go ahead and get to some value menu wagers on the card tonight. Not a lot of games circled, and I do have a best bet and bank, which I'm going to give out in just a few moments. But we previewed just a little short time ago some of these games that we're looking at, particularly with the Mets. I do think the Reds hit tonight. I really do. But even from a value perspective, looking at the Mets side of things, there's no reason to believe that the Mets can't chase Cincinnati. And Jason and I talk about it quite a few times. You need guys to run out. So let's just say the Mets score 4 runs in the top of the first inning. Jason's going to love that. Why? Because that means you're going to have at least get to the bottom of the 9th inning, or you have to run down and chase a few things to actually score. And if you get the extra innings, that is your bonus right here. So my value menu wager play of the night, I don't trust Gutierrez. I do think the Mets will be able to hit tonight, even with Lindor out of the lineup, who honestly, it's a positive that he's at with the overall numbers on the season, which is ludicrous to even think about at this point. But it is what it is. I think Pete Alonso hits a home run in this game. No reason to believe the Mets aren't going to get the 5 runs. I'm going to go with that as a value menu wager. Jason, what are you looking at on your value card tonight?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Blue Jays here. Going up against the Red Sox, and I saw someone was talking about maybe the Red Sox would be underdogs. I still like the Blue Jays in this spot. If you look at Pivetta here, he struggled against the Blue Jays in the past on 6-12, 5 innings, 6 hits, 6 runs, 4 home runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, and that was at home. And then on the road, 5 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, 2 walks, and 8 strikeouts. So I think the Blue Jays should be able to get the job done early in this game. I like the 2.5 in the first 5 innings on the team total. It's sitting at around minus 140 as the value play here. But, if you're looking at, going 4.5 or 5.5, I mean, it gets to be a lot going near 6 runs. So I'll just stick it at the first 5 at 2.5. But do I think the Blue Jays could obviously score 5-6 runs? Yeah, I think they could do it in the first 5 innings against Pivetta, especially in that ballpark. So give me the Blue Jays over 2.5 on the team total in the first 5 at around minus 140.
Yeah, I could see it there. I mean, I had a lot of games circled, which the Marlins don't really have a price up yet. And I'm almost like, as soon as they flash up, Kyle, that, Lester is going to be the possible starter. It's almost like me, you, and Jason can go out there and rack up some hits there against Lester. What are you looking at here on your fast food card here tonight? Any value that you're surfacing?
I am not going to jinx that Marlins bet and call John Lester again. I'm not going to do it. Just for the record, I just refuse to do that. God, Matt Harvey yesterday, unbelievable. I went to the Houston Astros. J.C. Mejia, not a very good pitcher. 3 fantasy points his last time out against Houston, was absolutely walloped. Then he comes back out and gets knocked out in the first or second inning, gets a -4, looks absolutely dreadful. It's the 3rd highest weighted OPS in terms of pitcher versus lineup tonight. I'm taking the Astros team total over 4.5, -140 over at BetMGM. I like the advantages here: 71, 63, 16, 15, 8, and 12. I think there's a live home run prop here as well for Jose Altuve, who's a righty who hits right-handed pitching better. In 2 career at-bats, he has homered once off of him, sitting at 20 home runs on the year. I think he can get 21 tonight. So I like the Houston Astros team total on the value menu, over 4.5, -140.
There you go. Best bets on the board tonight. Let's bring out the bankers. Been a while since I had one here with the All-Star break and, sitting watching on Friday. But now we're back in play on Monday. Teams have settled in here. And I'm going to go down to the state of Florida. Yeah, I do like the Marlins, but that's not where I'm headed tonight. And I'm not going to lay a -280. I'm laying tonight -155. Why is that? Because I'm taking the Tampa Bay Rays team total over 4.5, -155 at BetMGM. Here's why I like it. So when you take a look at the, ancillary numbers here, basically, say, oh, Watkins, look at his ERA, guys. If you're stuck looking at ERAs, you're going to be coming up consistently with no money in your pocket. You want to take a look at how these things match up and play out. Now, has he done decently this year against, left-handed batters? Sure he has. But take a look at this. We got Lau, Choi, Meadows, Wendell, Kiermaier, and Walls, all from the left-hand side in the lineup tonight. Let's also take a look at the ISO power numbers, which tells you what they're doing with their at-bats power number-wise. Are we getting more singles, doubles, home runs, triples, whatever it may be? Look at Lau, 283 ISO power number. Choi, 186. Meadows, 323. Wendell, 216. Zunino, 216. And Walls, 185. Now, also taking a look at what the Tampa Bay Bats have done in their last 10 games. How about if I told you this? Tampa Bay not known for their offense. 7 out of their last 10 games, 5 or more runs. So that's a team that's currently running hot right now. But let's take a look also about Spencer Watkins and what he's been up to. If you say, hey, look at his ERA, it's been fantastic. Don't look at that so much. Take a look at some other numbers here. Now, if I roll down the list, strikeout pitcher doesn't really matter. His xFIP minus is a 128. Now, if you say his ERA 1.74, no way I'm going near that. Look at his Sierra number on the season, a 6.25. If that was the equivalent to like a Richter scale, that would be like if a earthquake hit Los Angeles, there'd be no life left. That's how bad his Sierra number is currently right now. Yeah. So I'm going to take a look at the Tampa Bay Rays in this situation to get hits. And also, if you're saying, hey, his ERA, what's he usually get up to? 2019 AAA with Detroit, a xFIP number of 5.46 through 76 innings. That's a legitimate number. 2021 in AAA, 5.24 xFIP number. And then in Major League Baseball, 5.47. And we also know the Sierra number over 6. That equates to 5 or more runs by Tampa Bay. I don't need 9 at-bats. I just need 8 at-bats tonight. And again, instead of laying the -280 for Tampa Bay is going to win, lay the -155 and say, you know what, Tampa's getting 5 runs. They spiked this baseball team. That's where I'm going. Best bet and banker for me tonight. Jason, take it away. What you got?
Yeah, so we already talked about this. I'm going to the Reds over 2.5 on the team total in the first 5. I got it at -120. It's now around -135 range on DraftKings or PointsBet, or even WinBet if you're in New Jersey or that area. I know some people are like, oh, the line has changed. Before you guys say that the line has changed, look at the legal books, because the ones that are saying the line changed, the line never changed. It's just the offshore books kind of juicing up the prices on these bets. So the line has not moved. It's moved a little bit, but you can still get the 2.5 team total on DraftKings. Just talk about, yesterday Kyle was talking about Taijuan Walker going 0.1 innings pitched. So now the Mets need Eichhoff. They need him to go, a solid 4 or 5 innings in this game, because they just went and pitched 8.2 innings with their bullpen. Now they come here. They need Eichhoff to go. And as long as Eichhoff's out there, the Reds should be able to do some damage offensively. Now, the one thing Eichhoff has done really well, he's left 100% of runners on base this season. So all of the home runs he's allowed, they've all been solo shots. But I don't think that 100% left on base percentage is sustainable. So all we need is 2 home runs with 1 guy on base in the first 5 innings against Eichhoff for the Reds to do the damage and get the win here in the first 5 innings. And like we talked about earlier, the wind is going out to right field. Those left-handed bats, they'll have some power against him, like every single player has against Eichhoff, and the ball should carry over the fence in that ballpark, which is Cincinnati is home, which makes it really good here. So again, the Reds over 2.5 on the team total in the first 5 at -120. You can get it around -130, -135. I still see plenty of value there. This is the first time I'm fading the Mets all season long, and I think that says something. So.
There you go. So there we go. Let's see what comes up with the Mets tonight here. Kyle, what are you looking at on your best bet on the board for you tonight?
Well, Jason touched on it with the Toronto Blue Jays, and I'm going to take the entire game, team total, over 4.5 at -150. That's over at BetMGM. And I know some books will have it at 5.5. BetMGM allows you to have some different totals there, which makes it fantastic, especially for team totals. Over 4.5 -150. I believe over 5.5, you're sitting around even money. So if you have to take the extra run, I don't hate it. But for me, the 4.5 is where I like to go. Up and down the board, they just smashed Pivetta. Pivetta, nothing more than 17 fantasy points in his last 3 outings against Toronto. Biggio, McGuire even at the end of the lineup. Springer, Vladimir Guerrero, a home run and 5 at-bats. Bo Bichette, a home run and 6 at-bats. Up and down the order, you have advantages here. I like Toronto against Pivetta, who has looked absolutely terrible since they started checking the fingers. Nick Pivetta, very, very bad in that. It did have 1 good outing, I should say, a couple starts ago. But tonight, I think Toronto smashes him. A weighted 70-88 OPS, 311 career batting average from the lineup against pitcher tonight. Toronto should get it done. Give me that over 4.5 runs at -150.
There you go. Close to 400 people watching live in the chat box. Thank you for all that love and support as we kick off the second half of Major League Baseball season. We got you all covered. We're going right through to the World Series, right through to the very last game in Major League Baseball. We're going to be trying to get this money for those people in the chat box, share that information, and have a lot of fun. So best bets and bankers are on the board. Value menu wagers are on the board. Let's hit the odds lightning round and throw it around Major League Baseball tonight. Now, we do have a doubleheader, which, again, until they get to 9 innings here, it doesn't make too much sense to go over. So Minnesota and Chicago, 5:10 first pitch in game 1, 8:10 first pitch in game 2. Let's skip over that one. Also, quick thoughts here from you, Jason. We don't have a pitcher just yet in the Washington Nationals game versus the Miami Marlins, but it seems like if you're undecided, looks like it might be Lester, but I have to think it's probably not going to be a prime time pitcher here. So maybe you get a bullpen game. I was circling this as if Lester starts as one of the better plays on the board for a team total with the Miami Marlins. But then again, some injury information. Jazz Chisholm left the game yesterday with a shoulder injury. Cooper, the first baseman, got twisted up into a pretzel late in that game, and he left. 2 of their better hitters, maybe their best hitters outside of Aguiar, sort of backed off it here. But if Lester does start, let's just say that's the case, any looks here in this game?
Yeah, I agree that the Marlins should be able to hit the ball. But again, the Marlins are one of the teams that they've struggled hitting the ball and scoring enough runs. So it's always hard to put money on teams that are kind of already out of the race, and they're going to start bringing up guys from AAA that they think could have a chance and give different players a chance. So as I go on more towards the more of the later half of the season, I'm going to go more towards the teams that have something to play for, that have lineups that are major league ready, instead of teams that might have more AAA talent in there. And I'm not saying that the Marlins will. Obviously, with some injuries, that could happen. But their lineup does look really good. It's just that they have struggled for most of the year in scoring a high amount of runs. And so while I like the play, I'm not going to be the one to put money on it.
Boy, Starlin Marte will look good in center field for the Philadelphia Phillies as we try to rebuild. We can get Harrison back, go with McCutchen and Marte. We're going to have a Pittsburgh party right here in Philadelphia. Kyle, keep it moving down. Boston and Toronto, Pivetta, Stripling. We've talked a lot about this game. Slight favorite here to Toronto, -130s, -135s across the board, 10.5. Small ballpark here. These 2 guys should get hit, because when Boston is very good, they can hit. And obviously now being healthy, Toronto's got some big boppers in that lineup, including Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Here's the issue I have, and this is play into any of your thought process. We've talked about this sometimes here on the show, that Sunday night baseball game where it's almost like you fade the team that has to go on the road, which obviously Boston is doing here. Any thoughts on this game between Boston and Toronto?
Yeah, there should be runs. I don't feel comfortable taking a side in this game. It should be Toronto. You're right, but both pitchers profile very, very badly against the opposing lineup. I think you've got live home run props for Boston. Martinez and Bogarts should both really be able to hit all the lefties, Verdugo, etc. on Boston. And then, like I said, I love Toronto's team total today. That's why I stuck with the team total. I do think there would be runs in this game. If I'm betting a total for the game, I would lean the over. Again, it's a high number, 10.5. It doesn't really make you feel comfortable when you start betting in those double digits in Major League Baseball games. But for me, both team totals are live. I like both lineups a lot in daily fantasy. If DraftKings FanDuel, you can stack both of these lineups. You can game stack this game if you're playing maybe one of those turbos with a 3 or 4 game and you want to stack one game. This would be the game I would do it. Both teams should hit. But for me, the one I feel best about is that Toronto team total over 4.5, if you can find it.
Oh. Well, yeah, 967, 968 here, Baltimore and Tampa Bay. Now, we probably should skip over this game because minus 280s, minus 300 at PointsBet here. But any thoughts behind Baltimore and Tampa Bay? Obviously, Baltimore completely out of it. Tampa Bay trying to keep pace in the AL East. Any thoughts outside of maybe, obviously, the side, a total for the game? Can Baltimore hit? I don't think it's out of the realm that Baltimore can pick up a couple runs in here. I would love it. I would love to have Baltimore at 5 runs in the first inning, and I would throw a party for this one, Jason.
Yeah, Baltimore can absolutely score. I mean, Yarbrough will be on the mound, so you have a lefty, and they'll have a lot of righties in the lineup. But, like Donnie touched on, obviously this is a game where, the Rays should be able to score plenty of runs and win this game pretty handedly, and that's why the line looks the way it looks like. The Rays offense, they've been really good. I went on them yesterday with the Braves in the first 5, and they got the job done for me. So I'm a Rays fan after that. So, yeah, I like the Rays here.
Yeah, big strikeout lineup here for Tampa Bay, which is usually par for the course for them. They do walk a lot, but good thing is Watkins only strikes out about 14% of the batter he faces, and also conversely walks about 15% of the batter that he faces. So we'll see how that plays into this game. We'll keep sliding it down here. Here's an interesting one because I had this circled, Kyle, and I think you have some input on this as well. 969, 970, Texas and Detroit. That is Gibson versus Mize. Basically a pick 'em across the board. Over-under opened up at 8.5. That now sits at 9. Texas lineup always sneaking. Now, Mize isn't that bad of a pitcher, and what we've always thought about Gibson in the past, tomato can in Minnesota. Well, he's figured some stuff out here. I actually like Texas in this game a bit.
Me too. And Texas almost made my value menu here when you look at their advantages up and down the board. 23%, 14%, 79, 63, 24, and 36. Joey Gallo, 2 career at-bats against Casey Mize. Both of those at-bats turned into home runs. So if you want to do a little sprinkle on the Joey Gallo home run prop, I don't mind that either. I think the Rangers team total is very, very live. I was very, very close to making that a part of my value menu today. I'm looking at the updated number, over 4.5 plus 110. So if you have a book like BetMGM where you can get those adjusted lines, you're probably looking at a minus 135, minus 140 at over 3.5. If you can find that Rangers team total, not super juiced up over 3.5, I think it makes a ton of sense. They just profile really, really nicely over Mize today. You're 100% right about Gibson. He has started to figure some stuff out. He's been okay against Detroit. It's one of the lower weighted 3-year OPSs here at only 649. Someone mentioned their Gibson strikeout prop at plus 128 over 5.5. I absolutely think that's doable. But for me, I like the Rangers tonight, and I like that team total. Don't forget, when you're done with that starting pitcher in Detroit, you're getting the 4th worst bullpen in baseball in terms of ERA. The Rangers should score runs here. I don't even mind the plus money on the over 4.5. Give me that Rangers team total for sure.
Yeah, the official lineup came out, but it's not updated here. So just what I'm looking at, let's just see. Let's see. Lowe, Garcia. All right, so it looks like it's about similar to what we have up. So, I mean, you get after Casey Mize, 334 weighted on base average to lefties, 253 ISO power number, as Kyle turns out. Obviously, Joey Gallo sitting right in that wheelhouse here. But the ability to have 6 out of your 9 batters be from the left-hand side, that's exactly where you want to attack Mize. That's why I agree with it. I do think Texas is a decent play tonight, and also for their team total. 971, 972, Jason. Cleveland and Houston, Mejia on the mound versus Greinke. Big number for the Houston Astros at minus 210. 9s across the board. Any thoughts here with the Houston Astros and the Indians?
Yeah, again, I like the Astros in the first 5 on the team total. Cleveland, they do have a good bullpen, so you got to be careful going full game. We've seen that story plenty of times throughout the season where their starting pitcher struggles and then their bullpen comes in and holds it down. They're not really healthy, from the pitching standpoint. The Plesac's back, and when Savali and Bieber are back, things are going to be a lot better. But for now, they have to rely on pitchers like J.C. Mejia, who I know Kyle absolutely loves because,
he's dominant.
Kyle has plenty of guys that he loves in his, on his list. But Mejia does have a 3.90 xFIP on the season, also striking out 22.4%. He's able to get 55% of ground balls, so he's not terrible. But against lefties, 66 plate appearances, 340 weighted OBA, ISO 207, low strikeouts, high walks to really both righties and lefties. So the thing for the Astros will be those righties have to be patient. If they get on base, the lefties should be able to do some damage with power. Talking Brantley, talking Alvarez, Tucker, those are the guys that can do absolute damage. So those righties like Altuve, Gurriel, Correa, they just got to get on base, and the lefties should be able to do some damage. And it's just a balanced lineup all around. So I like it in the first 5 innings if we're going to take the team total for the Astros here.
Hard to take 957, 958, 815 starts. Hard to take the Chicago Cubs knowing they're in full sell mode here, but Mills is a better pitcher than Woodford. And I do assume if we're taking a look at some of the numbers that are coming in here, because Alec Mills has an xFIP minus number of 97, which is actually above average in Major League Baseball. ERA is a little bit high, xFIP number around 4, which isn't that bad. But when we slide it down and try to take a look at Woodford in this game, 137 xFIP minus, a 5.68 xFIP number. They should hit. They do have a couple lefties in the lineup. Maybe, I don't know, Rizzo can go yard in this game because he's a lefty. Obviously, Hayward might have an advantage, Happ or Ortega. But betting now that one team is out of it and the front office is ready to get you out of town, we don't know if this could be Rizzo's last game or Bryant's last game, Hayward's last game, whoever it is. Those guys are talking in the locker room. How invested can they be? So normally this would be a decent shot for me to take the Chicago Cubs, but I'm going to stay out of this one just because the fact is I don't know what I get out of Chicago night to night here, Kyle.
Yeah, exactly. And in 2 of his last 4 starts against St. Louis, Mills has been absolutely rocked, including a -4 in his last start. And you got some players in this lineup for St. Louis who profile really nicely. Tommy Edman, 6 of 7 lifetime in his career off Alec Mills. No home runs, but 4 singles, a couple of doubles. Goldschmidt doesn't look terrible here. Of course, Arenado, Carlson. It's a stay-away game for me. I don't trust either side. I don't trust either team. I want nothing to do with either pitcher in DFS. But if I was going to bet the game, I'd probably go the full game over 9. I do think both teams should be able to hit. Hard to trust. Stay away game for me. But if you're going to bet it for me, I would just take the over in the entire game because you can't trust either team.
You want bad teams? You want bad pitchers? You got it right here. 959, 960, Pittsburgh and Arizona. Young versus Caleb Smith, the lefty. Look, they opened up at 136 here at FanDuel. They're now down to 120, being a favorite for the Arizona Diamondbacks. 128 offshore, down to 119. 9.5s across the board. I actually had a small play circled here with a chance. It was a little bit too high juice. 3.5 minus 165 team total for Pittsburgh. I think they do hit, but again, you're looking at 2 teams not really going anywhere in the season. So as you get that post All-Star break, we like to bet some of these bad teams because you can pick up some team totals, but not a great feel for this one other than a slight lean here towards the Pittsburgh team total. Anything we're looking at here, Jason, in this game between Pittsburgh and Arizona?
Yeah, I like the Pirates. Obviously, against the Mets, they hit the ball. They looked pretty good offensively, and those are better pitchers. A little biased there, but they're better pitchers, even stat-wise, compared to the Diamondbacks and a guy like Caleb Smith. So I do agree. I think the Pirates are the team here. If you look at their, year stats on the season, Frazier's been really good. Of course, he's one of the top hitters in all of baseball, especially in the National League. Then you have Hayes doing a pretty solid job. Reynolds was an all-star as well. And then you have Stallings, who hit that grand slam against the Mets, and he's got some solid power against lefties. Even Nagowski making a name for himself, being the douchebag that he is. Just had to point that out. And say something, but no,
wow.
He's even
aggressive.
He even has a weighted OBA. He was aggressive to the Mets. Let me just point that out. If he wants some, he can come. I know he's watching the show.
Right. He made Stroman throw up. He made Stroman throw up out of fear.
Here we go.
But he even has a 440 weighted OBA, striking out to 7.7% of the time against lefties and also walking 15.4%. So, I think the Pirates are a solid offense. I think that they're playing a little bit more as a team compared to the Diamondbacks right now. So I would go with the Pirates here on the team total if you must.
You see the little thumbnail on the screen here. The Los Angeles Angels and those Oakland Athletics. The MVP takes the mound. But here's the issue. You're looking at a slight favorite here, roughly a pick'em, if you're taking a look, depending on what sports book, on the LA Angels or the Oakland Athletics. A total of 8 across the board. It's a pitcher's ballpark. We understand that. But here's the issue I have with Shohei Ohtani. I mean, this dude just had a whirlwind week. Home run derbies, playing in the All-Star game. Now he's back on the mound and pitching. His team actually stinks. And the one guy I never could seem to get a grip out of, I laughed and faded the hell out of this kid in Philadelphia. Cole Irvin couldn't get anybody out. But now he's turned into a decent pitcher. I don't know, maybe because he doesn't pitch in a tiny ballpark like Citizens Bank and a true pitcher's ballpark out there in Oakland now. But this is a tough one for me to gauge. If I'm looking towards the side, even though Ohtani is on the mound, Are we expecting here that they're going to say, hey, man, we need 7.5 out of Ohtani in this game? Or is this one of those where he pitches 5, maybe pitches decent, just to try to get into the second half of the season and maybe not so much as a rundown here? So I'm leaning towards Oakland in this spot here, Kyle, but there is an interesting, odds boost here that's basically Ohtani to get 5 or more strikeouts and hit a home run is well over 6-1. I think Ohtani can go yard in this game. I think he can get the 5 strikeouts. So maybe worth your while. But what are you looking at in this way between the Angels and the Oakland Athletics, Kyle?
Yeah, well, in terms of 3-year weighted OPS, the Angels profile absolutely phenomenally against Cole Irvin. They've actually smashed him in his last 2 starts, a 15-11. It's a 1060 weighted 3-year OPS, the second highest on the card, right behind Jared Eichhoff against the Reds. So I do think the Angels are live dogs here. It's a slight dog if I'm looking at the first 5 innings, minus 0.5, plus 120, minus 115 on the money line, Oakland even. I don't trust the A's. I'm not going to trust them off Ohtani. I don't love how they profile against Ohtani. No, if he doesn't pitch a lot of innings and you get that Angels bullpen, that's what you're looking for. The Angels have one of the worst bullpens in baseball. Both teams should be able to score runs here. That over 8 kind of makes a lot of sense. I do think both teams can score. This lineup has hit Irvin in the past. I don't trust the A's, so it's a dog or pass situation for me. Give me that plus money in the first 5 innings for the Angels. Minus 0.5, plus 120 in the first 5 innings.
All right, Monday show. Over 400 people continue to watch this show. Thank you for the love and support out here. Let's clear the bases and get out of here on a Monday. But the most important thing we can do is wrap it up by telling you guys what we're on tonight. A little bit of value menu wager play. It was a shame that I couldn't get that Marlins game nailed down because we still don't know who the starting pitcher is. But at the gate, I'm going to go with the Mets, 4.5 minus 145. Just a little bit. Just a little play to watch something come in. But I'm going with my best bet and banker tonight, 29-11 on the season. I expect to get win number 30 tonight. And that's on Tampa Bay, 4.5 minus 155. Play of the day, they get to 5 runs and run it up the flagpole against those Baltimore Orioles. Jason, take it away. Value and also best bets and bankers for you.
Yeah, so the value will be the Blue Jays over 2.5 on the team total in the first 5 at minus 140. And of course, the big play will be the Reds over 2.5 on the team total in the first 5. I got it at minus 120. If you see it at minus 130, minus 135, even up to minus 140, I still think there's value there. I still think that they'll get the job done against Jared Eichhoff, who's been really, really allowing plenty of power to lefties and righties, and the Reds, one of the best power hitting teams in all of baseball.
I love it. I love the Gerard pronunciation for Jared Eichhoff. That is something we need to keep in there. Kyle, what do you got tonight? Value. Go ahead. Best bet.
I had no idea his damn name was Gerard. How come you didn't tell me before the show? It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's not,
okay.
but we're making it.
It's not. Yeah, it's not.
Oh, it's not. Okay,
I was reading off.
I don't know. You
I
can
like
trick
that.
me.
Yeah,
You can
I was
trick me
reading
with
off the
these
screen.
names, man. You could call Cole Kool-Aid, and I'd believe you. So there you go. So play of the day is Blue Jays team total over 4.5. I know some people are struggling to find that. I don't mind the 5.5 either. I think they should smash Pavetta tonight. On the value menu, I like the Astros over 4.5 minus 140. Just like that matchup tonight and think they get it done against a pitcher I just don't trust all that much in JC Mejia. So give me that Astros team total as well. A couple home run props we're looking at. Joey Gallo, 2 home runs and 2 career at-bats. I like that quite a bit tonight. Vladimir Guerrero off Pavetta I think makes a lot of sense as well if you're looking for a home run prop there. And JD Martinez. He only has 1 hit and 9 at-bats off Stripling. It was a home run. I do expect Boston to score runs as well. So Martinez, Guerrero, and Gallo for some home run props. Astros, Blue Jays team totals. Those are all of our picks today.
All right, boys, that'll do it for a Monday. Thanks for love and support out there in the chat box as we continue to provide this Major League coverage all the way through, as I said, to the last game of the World Series, October, November. You don't know how long it's going to go, but you know what? We will be here giving out that good information. I'm Donnie Seymour for Jason Radowitz, along with Kyle Purviance. We are the SportsBookReview.com Major League Baseball team. This was your Monday show. Good luck on those wagers tonight.